you know, things that stand out more and kind of show more of their personality, I guess. I think it's pretty cool.
Sorry about that, folks. We have to interrupt your regularly scheduled programming of Austin Matthews doing his laundry. We will get back to that riveting footage just after this breaking news just tweeted by Bob McKenzie moments ago. He tweeted, "Breaking news, NHL rejects Seattle's expansion bid to enter the NHL. The dream of bringing a team to Seattle are fading fast. Details to follow." This is huge news. Moments later, he followed up by tweeting, "Hearing reports that Arizona is on the move. This could be in effect as early as next season. Hearing Seattle could be in play. Seattle billionaire is moments away from purchasing the Arizona Coyotes franchise." Going to another insider for more information, Pierre LeBrun has just tweeted, "Done deal. The Arizona Coyotes' tenure in the NHL is over. Due to record low attendance records over the past 2 seasons, it's no surprise that Arizona is on the move. 1996 to 2018. This was just confirmed by Darren Dreger. He just tweeted out, "Seattle is a done deal. They will be called the Seattle Storm Bears. Hockey in the desert is now over. Time for Starbucks and rain. Bears apparently now too. Seattle, you have an NHL franchise." It's been 94 years since Seattle has had an NHL franchise. Back in 1915, the Seattle Metropolitans were founded. They won a Stanley Cup in 1917, and then they folded in 1924. So 94 years later, Seattle is back in the NHL, and we are going to bring the Stanley Cup back to Seattle over 100 years since their last Stanley Cup in 1917. Welcome, Seattle. Welcome to the NHL. The Seattle Storm Bears. We're here. We're a brand new franchise. We've taken over the Arizona Coyotes, and I cannot wait to get started. So this feels good to be back. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty happy to be taken over as this new Seattle GM, and obviously all my assistant GMs, you guys in the comments. I'm just the guy who pushes the buttons and talks. You guys are what makes this happen. So appreciate all the comments. This has been a very hyped up series, and I cannot wait to get started. So before we get into the breakdown of the team, exactly where I want to go with the squad, because honestly we're not a very good team out the gate, I want to talk about the entire roster overhaul that I've done on NHL 18. So I spent the better half of the last week, hours and hours and hours, recreating and upgrading players' potentials. Now I've created around 60 players that aren't in the game because maybe they're still in, you know, university or college, like Casey Middlestad or Adam Gaudette. I also added some guys from the KHL that have rights to NHL teams like Tolvanen and Ilya Kovalchuk. I've added a few more here and there. I've edited so many overalls and so many potentials. For example, Andre Kasha, I think he was 76 overall. Now he's an 83 medium top 9. Honestly, he's playing like it this year. He deserves that overall. Now, some people might think, okay, yeah, you upgraded all these overalls, great, but it's a little bit overpowered. There's a lot of really good teams, a lot of really good players. And that's kind of the point, to be honest with you. I really want to see a lot of points. I want to see players get 60 goal years, 120 points. I want to see that all day, every day. So, for example, I've added players like Brad Marchand, he's now a 91, Bergeron's a 92. For example, let's go here. Let's go to the New York Islanders. Obviously, Matthew Barzal needed a big upgrade, and he got that. 88 overall. Jordan Eberle and Joshua Bailey are already upgraded to 86 and 87 respectively. Horvat is a high top 6 right now, and I did about 10 to 15 player upgrades for every team, including prospects. So, for example, like for the San Jose Sharks, I added Josh Norris, who was a first-round pick from last year. He's not in the game, and I made the majority of them medium or high top 6 because I want there to be high overall guys. I want to see a lot of goals being scored, and I want to see a lot of exciting things in the draft. Now let's talk about the draft, okay? The draft is going to be the most exciting part of this franchise mode. In year 1, I've added some players to the draft to make it more exciting. I'm going to spoil it right now. I made Rasmus Dahlin franchise potential because in my eyes and everyone else's, he is a franchise franchise player. He will turn a franchise around. He's got that Erik Karlsson kind of esque. So he is 82 out of the draft. All right. It might be a bit crazy, might be a bit, overpowered, but I want to make this as crazy as I possibly can. I want to see point totals. I want to see lots and lots and lots of goals. I also made Svechnikov better. I made Zadina better. And year 1 is a good draft. Don't get me wrong. But year 2 is where it's really going to get crazy. So I've went through and I did something kind of crazy. I'm not going to spoil it. You guys are going to have to wait for the year 2 draft. Now in the year 2 draft, some people might not get it, but if you've watched my videos for a while, you'll understand what I did in the year 2 draft. But that's a little while away, all right? It's a little while away. So continuing with the roster overhaul, I added some creative players as well. Jacob Selänne, who's this guy? A 17-year-old medium franchise defenseman from Finland. So we got Rasmus Dahlin and we got Jacob Selänne. So we got a Finn and we got a Swede here battling it out for the top position in the draft. We got players like Brady Tkachuk, who's been added. Quentin Hughes has been added. A few other players as well. And I've upgraded a lot of prospects, all right? A lot of them. So there's going to be a lot to deal with in this franchise mode, but let's go to where we are. Let's go to the team we are right now, and we are obviously the Arizona Coyotes. And I chose the Coyotes not because I wanted to, but because I kind of had to. My original plan was to do an expansion draft, but for some silly reason, EA, I'll never understand why, you can't use custom rosters with an expansion draft. I mean, I guess it makes sense a little bit, but it's kind of lame. But regardless, I kind of had to throw that idea out the window. And then that leaves us here. Here we are with the Arizona Coyotes being the team that kind of make the most sense for us to take out for a few reasons. A, they're already in the Pacific Division, so I don't have to do any division realignment. If I was to take out a team like, say, Carolina, that would be a little bit harder because I'd have to do all this division realignment and all that stuff. So it just honestly, it made most sense to deal with it this way. Now have the Arizona Coyotes roster rebranded as the Seattle Storm Bears. All right, now before we get into the lines and see all our prospects, stuff like that, I gotta show you guys these jerseys there. I gotta show you guys these sweaters. Honestly, I really like them. I think they're super cool. It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you, because we're not gonna be playing a lot of games, but I may hop into some in-game simulation. Let's have a look at these sweaters. Those are not the ones I created, nor are these ones. These are the ones we're talking about. Whew! Look at those jerseys. Obviously the home and alternate don't really matter, but those are some fresh sweaters. I love the logo that we have. It's awesome. So that's that. I think I covered everything. There's going to be a lot of surprises in this franchise mode with players, drafted players, created players, all that stuff. But you strip it down to bare bones, this is an Arizona Coyotes franchise mode, rebranded with the Seattle Storm Bears. Now I got to give a shout out to my assistant GMs for helping me come up with the name. We were tossing around a few ideas and Storm Bears just kind of clicked. It'll take a little while to get used to, but honestly I think it's a sick name. And you can follow the official Storm Bears Twitter at Storm_Bears. Link in the description. Go follow that. I'll be tweeting out a lot of stuff about the franchise mode, so you're definitely going to want to give that a follow. As for our roster, it doesn't look that great. Aside from our top 6, I mean, it's a weak top 6, honestly, compared to some other teams. Now the man who, I guess not the man, the kid who is going to be on the team for hopefully my entire time as the Seattle Storm Bears GM, Clayton Keller. I made him medium elite, bumped him up from an 83, I think EA had him at, all the way up to an 86. Now he's only 19 years old, so this guy is going to grow, he's going to grow fast, and he's going to be so good for us. Derek Stepan, I think I upgraded him to an 85 from an 84. Max Domi, I think I upgraded him like 1. Kristen Fisher, he was like 74 overall, which made no sense. He's having a great year in Arizona this year, so I think he's well deserving of the 82. Christian Dvorak, Japan GM mode legend, Brandon Pierlini. We got Martin Hook, Richardson, Nick Cousins, Zach Ronaldo, Dave Boland, and Freddie Hamilton. So It's our bottom six is probably one of the weakest in the entire league. It's really not that great. Defensively, we got Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who's now a 90 overall. Nicholas Hjalmarsson, who's an 84. He's on that big contract, though, of 4.4 for the next 2 years. Jason Demers also has a pretty big contract, I think, 4.9 for 4 years. Wouldn't mind moving a contract like that. And we also got Alex Goligoski, who's a decent offensive defenseman, although he's making $5.9 million for 4 years. And we got Jacob Chychrun as well as Luke Shen. Now, I didn't upgrade Jacob Chychrun. Maybe I did. Maybe I made him like 1 or 2 overall better. I think I did make him a little bit better. 79 overall, I feel like is pretty fair. And then in the cage is another problem that we have. We have Antti Ranta and Darcy Kemper. So Darcy Kemper, obviously recently acquired by the Arizona Coyotes. Antti Ranta has been lackluster for the entire year, but we technically have a starting goalie. No, we don't. He's actually listed as a backup. Don't technically have a starting goalie. As for our AHL team, let's have a look at them. Maybe there's some players I could bring up. Okay, I can bring up Lawson Krause and Dylan Strome. I did make them both 80 overall. I boosted them up because I want to see players grow. I want to see players grow fast. I'm sick of seeing guys, not necessarily Dylan Strome, but who's a guy, for example, that I made a little bit better so he'll grow better. Let me have a look at my sheet here. Hold on. Owen Tippett, all right? I made Owen Tippett 75 medium elite. Now, it may seem a little bit crazy to make him medium elite, but he never grows in franchise mode. I think I've seen him at like 83 once. I don't think it's too crazy to make him a medium elite. I mean, he's top 10 pick. Exact same thing with Kaylor Yamamoto. I made him 75 medium elite as well. So right away, we can bring up Strome and Krause. We could probably throw like Dave Bolland down here, but the team needs some work. I think the idea is to kind of tank year 1, hopefully tank year 2, because year 2 is really where you want to get the picks. Now, I was going to make it all in year number 1, but it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense because that would be, you know, kind of tank for what I know is going to be there in year 1. Year 2 is going to be a little bit different because obviously I want to upgrade the team. I want to be better than I am right now. So I didn't want to add everyone in the year 1 draft, especially because year 1 is already so stacked. I even have people in year 3 that I made in the year 3 draft. So it's going to be very, very deep. So first things first, let's edit up the roster and let's see what kind of team I can put together. So now having Strome and Krause on our team definitely helps out our top 6. They are listed as third line guys, but they are going to get the second line minutes with Christian Fischer. I mean, our top 6 really isn't that bad. Our bottom 6 does need some work, but it's decent for what it is. I mean, Nick Cousins is a pretty good fourth liner. I mean, Brad Richardson's a good fourth line guy. Same thing with Freddie Hamilton. So it's not bad. It could be a lot worse. Defensively, we're looking okay. I mean, these big contracts are kind of killing me. I don't really want to pay Alex Goligoski 5.9 for 4 years. Maybe if he was 84, 85 overall, I'd be more okay with that. But I mean, it's still very early on. We can't really pick and choose quite yet. One more thing I want to mention. Now, this is going to be the biggest thing. I have created custom sliders for this franchise mode. Now, let me show you what I mean. I've put everything at 100. Skating, shooting, passing, puck control, everything. I put it at 100. So what that's going to mean is that while the simulation's happening, there's going to be way more goals. And now it's not going to be crazy like players are going to get like 100 goal seasons or anything like that, but there is a noticeable difference where I've seen players get 65 goals. Like I think Ovi was close to 70 one year. And honestly, that's somewhat realistic. If any player can hit close to that, it could be Ovi. I think Stamkos is up there as well. I think he had 63 goals. There are notable players that I upgraded. You can see all the medium elites that Colorado has, including Cale Makar. He is pretty much NHL ready. He's listed as a minor top 2, but he's pretty damn close. Nathan McKinnon is now a high elite at 92. He's only 22 years old. That's ridiculous. I just wanted to point out a few players that, you know, maybe have some crazy trade value now. I am interested in seeing the Vancouver Canucks Canucks, and I'm interested in seeing what Elias Peterson's trade value is. Obviously, I made him a little bit better because he deserves it. He's 78 high elite. So you put him in the category kind of with like Tolvanen from the Nashville Predators, who's in the KHL, probably going to come over before the year's end. And he, I think, is 79 overall. Whereas, yeah, Tolvanen's medium elite, 79 overall. So, I mean, it could say he could be high elite as well. Dante Fabro, again, is another player that I added. So you're going to see all these players over the course of the franchise mode. There is just so many. I've put some work into this roster recreation. I've put in some work. So I think we might actually get some simulation done in this video. We're already at around 15-20 minutes. We can go ahead and we can set our captains first off. Let's do that. Let's set up our captaincy, all that stuff, and then we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll get like a month of simulation done. Maybe we'll see. So right now it's got OEL as the captain, Clayton Keller with the A, and Derek Stepan with the A. Now I think I'm going to strip Clayton Keller of the A. I think I'm going to give it to Max Domi. I think obviously he's a rookie. I don't think a rookie should have an assistant captaincy. I don't think that should happen. I think the game automatically did that because he was our highest rated forward, so that's understandable, but I'm going to strip that of him, and I'm going to give that to Max Domi. He's been here the longest out of our forward group. Ready to go. I think we're just about ready to start the simulation. Maybe I'll get 1 month done while we get the initial little bit done here. If you guys have any questions, I don't want to get too crazy into this franchise mode before I start answering questions or before we start making anything concrete. So let's do a few games of simulation here. Let's for sure slow sim the first game. We always do that. I want to see who's going to score the first goal in franchise history, and then we got a matchup of the expansion teams. I guess we're not really an expansion. We're more of a relocation team, but I think this is going to be a cool game to slow sim as well. We got the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Seattle Storm Bears in our home arena, which is called the Starbucks Center, just in case you were wondering. So let's go. The very first game in Seattle Storm Bears history. It's going to be against the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks versus the Bears. Let's see. I'm very interested to see who's going to score the first goal in franchise history. This is going to be a great trivia question 10 years down the road. Who's it going to be? Let's go. Let's get one right away. Let's not even wait. I want to see one in the first period. There you go. We get one, and it's Derek Stepan scores the first goal in franchise history. I'm not even mad that we're down. We got a goal. I'm fine with that. Silverberg scored the first goal on the Bears, so that's kind of a cool trivia fact as well. But Derek Stepan, get that puck, put it in the Hockey Hall of Fame beside the Seattle Metropolitan Shrine that they have in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. Let's go. Period number 2. Can we win our first game? We're down by 1. Ricard Raquel gets 1, but our rookie sensation, Clayton Keller, the man who could one day captain this team, gets us back in the game going into the third, and yeah, we didn't really do much. They outshot us quite a bit. It doesn't really show that much here, 35 to 30 at the end of the second. I think they outshot us by like more than 15, so that's a rough one. The first game you always want to win, but you know what, it's all good. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with getting the first one out of the way, right? Get the nerves out of there, get the jitters away, and then we can focus on winning some hockey games. But I want to do a few things now that we got the first game out of the way. I want to have a look at free agency. Now, I don't really want to get anyone for our team per se. I don't think we need a player like Tootin. He really doesn't make our team a better team, honestly. But Yoki Paka would be someone to get for our AHL squad. Since we moved up Dylan Strome and we also moved up Lawson Krause, that team took a hit. So I wouldn't mind strengthening them up a little bit, getting a defenseman, maybe a couple of forwards like Scott Kosmachuk. He's young enough. He's only 23. High bottom 6, so he could become something. He's still really young. This guy as well. Who are you? You are Jacob Nilsson, who is a Swede, I assume. He looks like a Swede, but he's only 23 years old as well. 67 overall. we can definitely give him a contract, and we'll also throw a contract at Jeremy Moran. Drafted by the Thrashers. I remember this kid had all this hype, but never really turned out to be anything. So we just signed 4 players, but we have a problem. You say, well, what is that problem? Well, we have too many roster spots. We have too many contracts. So I have to go in and I have to trade 4 players that really we're not going to use, 4 players that aren't going to be anything for our team. I'm going to go ahead and trade the 4 shittiest players that we have. Unfortunately, I can't trade Dave Bolland. I'd love to, but no one's going to want to take on that cap unless I was to make this trade just like unbelievable. But I got to throw in players like Zach Ronaldo and like this Kemp guy. So let me figure something out and then we can make something work. I'm really not going to be able to get much, so I think a 6 is all I'm going to be able to get. The trade value looks okay, but if I was to try for like a 4th or even a 3rd, they're obviously going to say no, and they don't even have a 4th for me to get. So let's go ahead and take a 5th. Let's take a 5th from Winnipeg. I have to trade 1 more player because they have too many contracts as well. But will this work? A 5th? Trade accepted. There you go. Beautiful. All right, so we're making a bit of room here. I did sign 4 players, so I have to trade away 1 more player that we're not going to use. We actually have a 2nd from Minnesota this year, no 2nd for us, and we added a 5th for this year, so that's good. Year 1's usually a pretty deep draft, so I'm okay with getting as many picks as we possibly can. This guy, Silso, yeah, we don't need you. See you later, buddy. You're going to Vegas. From one expansion, sorry, we're not an expansion team. I keep saying we're an expansion team. From one new team to another new team. How about that? Does that sound a little bit better? Can I get a 5th for this Silso guy? That'd be sick. Trade rejected. No, I have to get like a 7th maybe, which is fine because I'm bringing in younger blood. Give me Toronto's 6th. Will that work? Maybe that'll work. Will that go through? Trade accepted. There you go. So we got a 5th and a 6th for some players that really weren't going to be anything for us. They were like bottom AHLers that were just grinders that we're never going to use. So hopefully they sign ASAP and then I can work around our AHL roster. I want to make our AHL team actually respectable out there for a few reasons, because I want our young players, once we start drafting players and once we start getting some prospects into our system, I really want our morale to be up in the AHL. I don't want to have crappy morale because we're losing every single game. I don't want that at all. I want to have a good contending AHL team, get that morale up, and then that's going to make our prospects grow. All right, here we go up against the Vegas Golden Knights. I didn't see if they won their first game or not. Both teams could be looking for their first win in franchise history, first period. All right, we got a 1-1 hockey game. Lawson Krause, I believe that's his first ever NHL goal. Jonathan Marchessault gets 1. I did make him really good. I think I made him 87 overall. Pretty well deserving. Period number 2. All right, still 1-1. Going into the 3rd. Can we squeak a victory? It's going to be an overtime. Can we do it? It's going to go to a shootout, going down to the wire. And we get a victory. Clayton Keller and OEL score in the shootout. And we get our first ever franchise victory. That's awesome. And actually the Knights are still looking for theirs. So we beat the Golden Knights to the first ever franchise victory. That's awesome. So we always have that over the heads of the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, in my franchise modes, I love doing rivalries. I love having player rivalries and I love having team rivalries. Right now, I think without question, our biggest rival, or not really a rival quite yet, but a team I think we're going to be bumping heads with a lot is the Vegas Golden Knights. Obviously, they're a way better team than us. There's no one denying that. I boosted up a lot of their players, like William Karlsson's like 88. Like, there's a lot of really good players on that team. So it's no doubt they're going to have a better record than us, and no doubt they're a better team than us. But since we're both year 1 rookie teams, I think it'd be a lot of fun to go head to head for the next few years. So maybe you'll be seeing a big old rivalry there with the Golden Knights and the Storm Bears. I love it. I love it. I love it already. It's awesome. So Dave Bolland, you're gonna not be on this team. So you will, but you'll be playing on the 4th line. So let me just go ahead and edit up all these lines. I want to make sure our younger guys are getting more ice. Then obviously guys like Ty McGinn and Dave Bolland. So let me have a look around and I'll fix it up. Everything is all good to go. Our AHL roster roster is all set, and we are ready to go with our home and home against the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, I've edited the trade block a little bit. Oh, wow, we beat the Golden Knights again. These guys cannot seem to get their first victory. That sucks. Look at these victories. 7-6 overtime win. What? Oh man, we're putting up some numbers right now. I didn't really expect that. Another victory. Maybe I'll never get to finish what I wanted to talk about. Holy shit. Okay, we're getting some wins right now. 4-1-0. I'm a little bit surprised. But basically what I did is I edited up the trading block. I want to start getting some offers in there. Now I know it's only the first episode. Why are we making trades right away? 3-0 victory. What the hell's going on? We're 5-1. Home and home against Dallas, and we win again. What the hell? I want to start getting some sort of trade action going. Another victory. We're 7-1. What the hell? Okay, let me talk about this really quick. I want to get some sort of trade activity going because I have a player sitting that I don't really want to be sitting, and that's Kevin Connaughton. He's a 77 overall depth defenseman. Yeah, he's nothing special, but I think I'd rather play him over a guy like Luke Schenn. Now, let's have a look at him. Luke Schenn is 78 overall as a defensive defenseman. Yeah, we know what we get with Luke Schenn. But Kevin Connaughton's a little bit younger, and I think he would be better suited. Plus, he's not making basically any money. Now, I know we really don't have to worry about money right now since we're a team that... I mean, either is Luke Schenn, actually. My entire point just went to shit because Luke Schenn's only making 1.4. It would make more sense to change him out for like Jason Demers, right? So again, if I get an offer for a player like Jason Demers or Nicholas Hjalmarsson or even Alex Goligoski, I may pull the trigger on that because we could probably get some good assets as well as I can just bring a player up. I have a player in Kevin Connaughton who's playing in the minors, so it's perfect for him to come right up into the NHL. He is listed as a top 6 defenseman. So, you know, maybe if we were to trade one of these guys early on that has a big contract, maybe get some future assets, maybe a few draft picks, because yes, we're 7-1 right now, which is crazy. This is some Vegas Golden Knights real life type shit. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights are 3-2 right now, but I don't think we're going to keep this pace up. If we do, unreal, but I don't think we're going to. I've done a few tests, and basically every time we're a bottom feeder team, so I'm thinking we're going to continue with that trend. But 7-1 to start off the year, I'm very, very surprised. I'm happily surprised. I mean, I knew we were going to be a bottom feeder team, but knowing why is the simulation taking so long? Maybe a big trade's happening, but I know where we're going to be at the end of the year. But 7-1, that's very surprising. Back-to-back losses there to the Islanders and to the Rangers. We're almost done this month. I don't think I'm going to do any more simulation. Okay, we got a trade offer here. So we're going to move up from a 5th to a 4th from Detroit. It's the Winnipeg Jets 5th round pick that we just got. And we have to give up this guy, who is a low top 9 7th round pick. So it's just another roster spot. I mean, he's not even really signed. Sure, let's move up 1 round. Yeah, sure, that's a smart trade, right? Let's move up an entire round by giving up a player who will probably never play in the NHL. 55 overall, yeah, that guy's never playing. Perfect, I'll move up a round. Thank you very much, Detroit. Thank you, appreciate it. Great trade. Another victory there against the, wow, 2 victories there. God, we're 9-2-1. Wow, did not expect this at all. Honestly, like, half the things I wanted to say about rebuilding and, you know, don't be too upset if we're, you know, 0-10. That's not the case. Now I have nothing to talk about because we're killing it. We're first in our conference. Could be first in the NHL. Oh my God. All right, let's go. Last game here against the Detroit Red Wings, and we're down 1-0. Gustav Nyquist scores on Darcy Kemper, period number 2. All right, still down 1-0. Just made a trade with this team, and they shut us out. All right, Detroit. Okay, so we end off the first month 9-3-1. Very, very, very impressed. Now they want to trade Andrew Ladd. Okay, you want to give me Andrew Ladd of all people for Nick Cousins, a 4th and a 6th? You've got to be kidding me. What's he, 81 overall? Yeah, exactly. 81 overall. 5.5 million for the next 6 years. Garth Snow, you gotta go. Not happening. Not a great trade at all. So again, 9-3-1. I don't think we're gonna keep this pace up. I can't see us doing it, but I don't know. I mean, it's surprising. Do we have the most points in the NHL right now? No, Tampa Bay does. They're 10-2-1. We're second place in the NHL. That's ridiculous. Yes, it's only a month in. It's still kind of a cool story. Take that, Golden Knights. Take that. The Storm Bears, baby. We're here. We're making our presence felt. So through the first 13 games, Clayton Keller's leading the way with almost a point per game. He's got 12 and 13. Derek Stepan's got 10. Dvorak. Jason Demir is up there with 8 helpers. Very interesting. OEL's got 9 points. Obviously, he's going to be our main source of offensive production on the back end. But Jason Demir has something to say about that. 8 assists in his first 13 games. Domi, Fisher, Nick Cousins, Strome, Japan GM mode legend Brandon Pierlini, 77 overall. He's got 1 goal on the year. One more thing before I check out the scoring leaders for the entire NHL is Jakob Chychrun. Now, if we were to trade a guy like Jason Demers, Alex Goligoski, Nicholas Hjalmarsson, that gives a chance for Jakob Chychrun to play in the top 4, which I really wouldn't mind. Yeah, he's only 19, but I want to get this guy playing top minutes because he's going to be a top defenseman for us in the next upcoming year. So maybe at the trade deadline, you know, maybe the last 20 games, Chychrun gets top 4 ice. I think that's totally fine. Let's have a look here. Look at Marchessault. 20 points in 11 games. What the hell? 88 overall now that I upgraded him, and he's playing like it. Oh my god. Backstrom's got 18 and 12, so scoring is definitely up. This is exactly what I wanted. Brock Besser's got 16 in 11, so he's killing it. Stamkos, I mean, a lot of guys have over 10 goals already. That's 3 guys have over 10 goals, and we're only 13 games in, so that's crazy. Kane, Ovi, and the sniper himself, Jonathan Marchessault. Now, one thing I should let you guys know, you go to rookie skaters, what? Nikita Kucherov's not a rookie, Brock Besser is, but Tarasenko's not. There's a bug in NHL 18 where if you edit a player, they automatically go into being a rookie, but their age doesn't change, but they're eligible for the Calder Trophy. It's really weird. Like, I think Tarasenko won the Calder when I was doing my tests. Very weird, so just know that the first year the Calder Trophy is not really going to be the Calder Trophy. It's pretty much going to be the best player in the NHL. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. A little bit surprising. The start was something I didn't think we would have. 9-3-1. Could be, you know, there's just that Vegas Golden Knights type thing where they're playing so good. You know, they're the new team out there. They got all this excitement around them. Maybe it'll fizzle and fade out, but the Vegas Golden Knights are doing pretty well. They're 6-3-2, so they're top 15 in the NHL, but we are number 2, right behind the Tampa Bay Lightning with Nikita Kucherov and Steven Stamkos, both at a 94 medium franchise. That is going to be a sick team. But basically, that's going to be it for me, guys. This one was a little bit of a long one. I wanted to make it a lengthy one just so you guys can get into the series, and I hope you guys are into it because I put a lot of work into this roster. I put a lot of work into this franchise mode, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But we got a lot of work to do ourselves. I need my assistant GMs in the comments. I need you guys to help me out if you have any sort of suggestions, line pairings, you got any trades I should make. You know, obviously we're 1 game in, so it's not get super crazy, but again, follow the official Storm Bears Twitter at @storm_bears, link in the description, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience while I was gone. It means a lot. I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be the new GM of the newest franchise in the NHL, the Seattle Storm Bears.